You know, I liked All In. It was a pretty good show. But my one biggest issue with it was that it was just way too short. So much more could have been done with it. So much more time could have been used. Only 7 hours. It's just not long enough for a big show. So that's what we're going to be trying to do today. We're going to be rebooking All In for 24 straight hours of in-game match time. It's going to be a long one. So hello and welcome to the 24-hour All In Texas. Still says London, that's just an old picture. But we are in Globe Life Field. And we have got a pre-show panel on the main card. Just because, honestly, I just needed to fill the time. I was running desperately low on time. We got your main hosts are, of course, Renee Paquette, RJ City, Paul White, and Jeff Jarrett. And we've got guests and video packages. More video packages, because a lot of these guys are in later matches, so they'll probably be asleep right now. Talking about some of the big shows, big matches on this show. Now, to do this, we have brought in a lot of people from our sister company. Well, not sister companies, our partnership companies. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Stardom, and CMLL, and Rev Pro actually as well. A lot of them have come in, and we're going to be showcasing them as well because, you know, there's 24 hours of wrestling to get through. This was a pain. That last hour, the last couple of hours, were a nightmare to get up to. And a lot of matches are going to be a lot longer than they probably should be, because we had time to fill. So, the actual show, Tony Khan comes out and says, you know what? Let's do this. It's going to be a long one. We're in for a long haul, guys. I hope you're ready. I know we all are backstage. Some people are still asleep. Some people are getting ready. But in this time, 24 hours, on the Sunday, we will have completed the unthinkable. And your first commentary team is Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness, because one commentary team doing 24 hours is completely unrealistic. And you'll find out exactly when each commentary team comes in. We've brought in so many extra referees, so many extra road agents, and there are still some of them who are getting overused. Terrifyingly. The opening match, what's starting this long 24-hour show, is a tag team match as El Villanos, El Hijo del Villano 3, and Villano 3 Jr. take on Los Titanes del Air, Commander, and Hologram. It goes to 66. It was just a good match. Go and steal the show. Just whilst the crowd's still at its hottest, get things going. Get that crowd right up for it with some high-flying Lucha Libre action. Just 8 minutes. Probably could have gone a little bit longer if I was looking for more time, but I won't say no to an 8-minute Lucha Libre opener. We're then get Michael Oku being interviewed by Renee Paquette ahead of his Rev Pro Undisputed Championship match, which is right now as he loses the Rev Pro Undisputed British Heavyweight Championship to Gabe Kidd, who in 25 minutes hits him with the sick kick to win the title. And he goes to the camera that Rev Pro will finally respect him now. He is their champion. They don't have a choice. He will take this back to Britain and he will dominate this company like he should have done years ago. IWGP Women's title on the line as Sayuri defends against Harley Cameron. Look, they're not all going to be major matches. We've had to use so many different wrestlers. Shuri versus Harley Cameron is one of those matches which is like, it's a bit of fun. It's not going to be a great match. It's a 55. Shuri was pretty good with a 59. 38 for Harley Cameron. Not too shabby. The Strong Openweight Championship sees Luke Jacobs defeat Tomohiro Ishii to become the Strong Openweight Champion. Figure 4 leg lock in 19 minutes, so 20 minutes this goes. Our first longish match, well, second longest match after the Rev Pro title match. Gets a 68 rating, a 66 for Ishii, a 57 for Luke Jacobs. CMLL involvement next, as Muscular Delada and Top Flight team up to defeat Hechicero, Gran Galero and Esfinge. If you look at the ratings of the match, Hechicero and Muscular Delada are on a different level, which is pretty accurate to real life. Those two are phenomenal luchadores. And yeah, these guys also went all out for 12 minutes. Hold on. Hechicero's got a Midas touch, and so does Muscular Delada. So a 70 rating. Best match of the show so far. The Murder Machines of Brian Cage and Lance Archer defeat BTE of Colt Cabana and Brandon Cutler in 8 minutes when Brian Cage pins Colt Cabana with Weapon X. Jimmy Corderas is someone we brought in as a referee, who will also be coming in as a commentator later on in the show, because he can do play-by-play, and we needed a lot of play-by-plays. But you know, also one thing I have done is I've removed every single absence from the company because I needed as many people as I could. So Brian Cage is back from his injury, and he picks up the win here, pinning Colt Cabana with Weapon X. Azumi retains her Strong Women's title against Sky Blue with a diving crossbody in just under 20 minutes. Gets a 61 rating. Azumi makes the first defense of her Strong Women's title. A lot of the title defenses are going to be inaccurate actually, so because we've moved them to AEW to have them on this card. So don't pay too much attention to the title defenses. But a 61 rating. And a fatal 4-way tag team match goes 27 minutes as the Crew defeat Lee Johnson and Blake Christian, Private Party and MXM when Leo Rush pins Lee Johnson with the Dragon's Call. It's a long match. It was going to be a lot of matches are going to be a lot longer than they need to be. But, you know, the show's kind of been broken up into little segments. Each one's getting its own main event. And Action Andretti was angry after the match after Lee Johnson almost injured him. Thanks, Masahiro Chono. The Blue Panthers take on the Outrunners. It goes 6 minutes just because Blue Panther is 60. I didn't know how long he could go for. And he was still the best person in this match. That's hilarious. Blue Panther gets a 55, which is the best rating in this match, but it is the Outrunners who pick up the victory, Truth Magnum pinning the legendary Blue Panther. Women's tag team action here, as Thekla and Julia Hart take on Queen Aminata and Serena Deeb, and Zexius and Deonna Purrazzo. Maybe I shouldn't have done so many multi-man tag matches, as that would have given me a little bit more leeway with some wrestlers. But Thekla submits Zexius with the Death Strap lock. In terms of in-ring performance, Serena Deeb was the best, Zexius was the worst, but Zexius and Deonna Purrazzo didn't work well as a team, and Zexius was really off her game. Not amazing start for her. And I think we got a 6-person tag here, as the House of Torture Evil Sonata and Ren Narita take on the Bang Bang Gang of Juice Robinson and the Guns. And it is Juice Robinson who picks up the win for the Bang Bang Gang, pinning Ren Narita with Pulp Friction even. Sonata was in extremely poor form, that's pretty realistic. Still the best in this match though. There's a lot of things you can say about the House of Torture. Being in good form is never one of them. And our first main event of the evening, main event of Section 1, the one hosted by Schiavone and McGuinness, is the Young Bucks versus Swerve and Ospreay. And it's Swerve and Ospreay who pick up the win in 38 minutes even. And Swerve hits Nicholas Jackson with the Swerve Stomp with the thumbtack boots. Gets a 77 rating. Chono was our road agent for this one. Everyone raised their game for the season finale. McGuinness got a voice of attribute. What's the voice of? I don't know. But either way, a 77 rating for our first main event. And we get Swerve and Ospreay having a quick celebration afterwards. They have stripped the Bucks from their EVP status. And we get our first commentary switch. Tony and Nigel, they're done for the day. They're off to bed. And coming in is Renee Paquette as your play-by-play. And Kurt Angle on colour commentary, because we had to bring in some unemployed people as well, just to boost up the numbers. Kurt Angle coming in as a colour makes a lot of sense. And the first match under their commentary, and you can even see they are legitimately the commentary team for this segment, is it pretty much a squash match as Anthony Bowens defeats Max Caster in 4 minutes with the Arrival. In a build-up match basically for one of the matches later in the card, the Paragon of Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly defeats the Don Callis family of RPG Vice when Kyle O'Reilly pins Trent Beretta with his Brainbuster. Both teams have excellent chemistry. That's understandable. They've been teaming for over a decade now. It's a 68 rating. Goes 23 minutes. Ricochet and the Gates of Agony defeat Heat of Satnam Singh, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal when Ricochet pins Jeff Jarrett with the 630 senton. Ricochet was the best worker, Satnam Singh was the worst. It goes 10 minutes, it's not a long one. Gets a 62 rating. And we get an Ingobernables match here, as La Faction Ingobernables of Rush, the Beast Mortos and Dralistico face the unaffiliated former Los Ingobernables de Japón members of Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi and the global champion Yota Tsuji. And it is the unaffiliated who pick up the victory, with Yota Tsuji pinning the Beast Mortos with the Gene Blaster. Rush was the best performer in the match. Kind of really makes me want to see if we do an episode 2 of this, Rush versus Hiromu. Megan Bayne picks up a victory against Hikaru Shida, which also sees the first appearance of Red Shoes Uno. Because we needed a lot of referees, we needed a lot of everything for this card. Yeah, Red Shoes Uno and R.D. Evans. Commentated by Renee Paquette and Kurt Angle. It's a very weird show. And the tag team title matches, which I don't think is the main event for this segment, goes 27 minutes. Lashley pins Christian Cage to make defense number 6 of the World Tag Team titles for the Hurt Syndicate. And afterwards, we get the turn. Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne turn on Christian Cage, and Cope makes the save. Cope will be having a match later on in the show, so he's going to go and have a nap now. And I think this is our main event for this segment, as the Ops of Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata and Powerhouse Hobbs lose the trios titles to Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta and Pac after Hook turns on them, aligning with the Death Riders. Castagnoli had a good comeback spot, not bad. And John Moxley comes out despite not having a match for 17 hours, to announce that Hook has bought in to the Death Riders' way. It wasn't the main event. We've got one more match, as the Learning Tree of Big Bill, Chris Jericho and Brian Keith lose to the Hounds of Hell, Brody King, Buddy Matthews and Barbaro Cavagnaro. And it is Cavagnaro who picks up the victory when he submits Big Bill with La Cavernaria. In terms of the match, Buddy Matthews was the best in the match, followed by Brody King. Then Cavagnaro and Big Bill were right behind them. And that wasn't even that wasn't the main event of that segment. We've got, hold on, Derek Moore is not a special guest referee. I just want to point that out. Hold on, give me a second here. Okay, so the main event was Bandido versus Konosuke Takeshita, got a 63 rating, and Bandido retained his Ring of Honor World Championship. Let's jump, but that was the main event of Section 2. It went 37 minutes. Let's jump back into the show as we see our next commentary switch. Renee and Kurt, they're going to bed. Ian Riccoboni and Christopher Daniels are coming in. So the reason it was coming up as Derek Moore as a special guest referee was because whilst we was booking it, as soon as a referee was showing too many matches, I was going in and taking the referee role off of them so that they wouldn't be put in any more. That then, unfortunately, led to me forgetting to put it back on. And it considered them a special guest referee. That has now been fixed, and we shouldn't have that issue again. So the first match with Daniels and Riccoboni is the Battle Royale. Yeah, that's why it took so long to load. And as you can see, it's a legitimate change of commentary team. There was a lot in this match. We had AR Fox, Big Boom AJ, Callum Newman, Danhausen, David Finlay, El Desperado, El Fantasmo, Great Khan, Hanare, Jake Lee, Josh Alexander, Kaito Kiyomiya, Kip Sabian, Kosai Fujita, Luther, Master Wato, Michael Nakazawa, Orange Cassidy, Preston Vance, Shota Umino, Taishi, Templario, The Butcher and the Blade, Titan, Tommy Billington, Toriano, Yo, and Uya Yamura. Orange Cassidy picks up the victory, last eliminating Big Boom AJ. But most importantly for later on, he also eliminated Toriano. That will play into something later on. That goes 30 minutes. Shane Taylor Promotions takes on the old guard of Satoshi Kojima, Yuji Nagata, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Nagata despite being the oldest, having the best rating for their team. Lee Moriarty, the best for his team, but it's Tanahashi pins a Go-Go with the High Fly Flow. FTR defeat the Sons of Texas in just under 28 minutes, and Cash Wheeler pins Sammy Guevara with a Shatter Machine. I mean, yeah, it's a very different role for Dustin at this All In, because, as I said, I took away all the injuries, which meant Adam Cole wasn't out either. Athena defends her ROH Women's Championship against Tam Nakano in 27 minutes with the Eclipse, or the O-Face. It's a 75 rating, great stuff. The crowd is still very hot, which I'm very happy about, considering we're in hour 7 or 8 now. We get the Women's Casino Battle Royale. It's not Casino Gauntlet even. Don't worry about the elimination. All you need to know is that Jamie Hayter won. The entries were Anna Jay, Billy Starks, Jamie Hayter, Camille, Chris Statlander, Mina Shirakawa, Ruby Soho, Thunder Rosa, Willow Nightingale, and Yuka Sakazaki. Gets a 56 rating, and Jamie Hayter bruised her eye socket. Not great. Anyone got heat? No, but Jamie Hayter can still cut a promo saying that whoever wins in the women's title match later tonight, Jamie Hayter is after them. She's going to have a nap, and she'll be out to face them later. And the IWGP Heavyweight Championship is on the line as Zack Sabre Jr. defends against Hiroki Goto. Gets an 80 for Zack, a 59 for Goto. They have pretty good chemistry, which gives us a 78. And afterwards, Tanahashi presents Zack Sabre Jr. with the V5 belt. Mercedes Moné, you know what I think might be the main event of this segment, maybe. I'm surprised it wasn't the IWGP title match, honestly. Mercedes Moné defeats Marina Shafir in 20 minutes to defend the TBS and the undisputed British Women's Championship. And Azumi, the strong women's champion, comes out, holds up her belt. Mercedes Moné holds up as many of her belts as she physically can. And that is the main event. Next, switch, is Jimmy Corderas and Jeff Jarrett coming in for a little bit. We are scraping the barrel, I'm sorry. In an ROH match, the Grizzled Young Veterans defeat the Kingdom in just over 19 minutes, when James Drake pins Matt Taven with Ticket to Mayhem, gets a 62. MJF defeats Mark Briscoe in 38 minutes with Salt of the Earth. MJF gets a 59, a 54 for Briscoe. It's a 64 overall. Kushida defeats Matt Sydal in a throwback junior heavyweight top match. Goes 16 minutes. Kushida gets a 63, Matt Sydal gets a 46. We get just a little promo package, and it's an episode of AEW RJ City with Jack Perry. Jay White defeats Daniel Garcia with the Blade Runner in 21 minutes in our storytelling match of the night. It's a 63 rating. Eddie Kingston defeats Ortiz in 26 minutes with Backfist to the Future. Gets a 56 for Eddie, a 43 for Ortiz. And you know what? The maths is lovely mathing right now. Taiji Shimori defeats TJP with the LaBelle Lock in 18 minutes. Gets a 58 rating. And Tony Storm defeats Britt Baker in 20 minutes with the Strong Zero to make next defense of the World Championship. Apparently, Tony Storm and Luther don't have chemistry. That's the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever seen in this game. 61 rating though. Not too bad. And after the match, there's Jamie Hayter. She's awake again. It's only been, 3 hours? So it was a power nap more than anything. I mean, if we think about this, next commentary shift, we're looking at we're in 10 hours in. So if we started at 2 in the afternoon, we're around midnight right now. And it is the next commentary team. And then considering we're around midnight, wrong commentary team to put in, because the Costco hour starts now. Jimmy Corderas and Jeff Jarrett are out, and the Costco guys are your commentary team for the next hour. And I mean it. They are. We're going to get a lot of dings for commentary for this next hour. Which is why, unfortunately, this hour is not the most important. Which also, considering the time, makes sense as well. Ty Mello defeats Penelope Ford with a Tayagoshi. The Dark Order defeats the Nightmare Factory, back again for one night only, when Evil Uno pins Aaron Solo with a reverse pile driver. Amira and Layla Gray lose to Emi Sakura and Riho when Riho pins Layla Gray with a Northern Light suplex. It's a 45 rating. And now, there we go. That's all the Costco hour is. It was a quick hour because I needed an extra commentary team and I thought, let's do something fun. Let's give the Costco guys an hour. And now taking us into the early hours of the morning, Rob Moore, who's a local guy who we just bought in, and Milana Collection AT, the most legendary Japanese commentator, I think, of recent eras. Because you don't have to speak English to be a commentator in this game. Honestly, you should probably fix that. Johnny TV defeats Scorpio Sky with a Starship Pain. It's a 53 rating. 2.0 defeats Cole Carter and Griff Garrison when Matt Menard pins Cole Carter, who was by far the weakest in this match. Gets a 50 rating. Taya Valkyrie defeats Mercedes Martinez with a Road Valhalla. Maybe this should have been an hour with Ian and Chris, because this is very ROH heavy. And Orange Cassidy and Toriano agreed to have another match. Oh, what was the special guest referee this time? Rebel. Okay, oh no, this one actually was a special guest referee. But because of the issues I had earlier, it didn't do what I needed it to do. Gets a 63. Orange Cassidy wins. 73 for Orange, 55 for Yano. Calms the crowd down a little bit. We're in the earliest hours of the morning now. We can build them back up. And here is the local talent part of the set show. As I said, if we do the maths, at this point we're about 3-4 in the morning. So we're just throwing some local enhancement, local talent out. Some you might recognise, some you won't, against some of our lower card guys. Mark Davis defeats Charlie Haas. Billy Gunn defeats Ninja Mac. Killswitch defeats Ryan Davidson and actually got outperformed by him. Interesting. Wardlow, Kota Ibushi and Keith Lee defeat the Premier Athletes, Josh Wood, Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. It's a 57. We're almost at the end of this segment, I believe. And here it is, yes, the morning main event. Well, just as people are waking up if they've gone to sleep. Kyle Fletcher versus Adam Cole goes 43 minutes. And Kyle Fletcher wins the TNT title. Gets a 59. The crowd's very hot. But it was disrupted by injury. It's not going great. No one was at fault, but Kyle Fletcher is your new TNT champion. And we are now in the final stretch. If my maths is correct, we're now at 6 AM, maybe 7. We're in the last 5 hours of this show. And so, your main event commentary team, Excalibur, Jim Ross and Taz. And we've got a lot of big matches. Okada Omega is your first one. And it goes 75 minutes. And Okada unifies the titles with a Rainmaker, probably the 20th Rainmaker in this match. Gets an 80 rating. They have great chemistry, of course they do. But Jesus Christ. They're both missed a finale, which is handy. They both slowly built the match well. crowd was very hot and both penalised because they're a bit older now. Darby Allin defeats the new Death Rider of Hook. Nyla Rose defeats Persephone. Just because I needed a little bit more time, so these guys got the time. Jack Perry defeats Cope with the Canadian Destroyer. Jack Perry is not the flavour of the month. I'm sorry, that is just not realistic. And here we go. Those matches took up a couple of hours. So we're looking probably at about midday now, probably. Look, all I know, I've lost track of the actual how long the show is. All I know is that in the actual time thing at the top of the booking screen, it said I was at 24 hours, 1,440 minutes. So here we go. The main event gets an 81. Page wins the AEW World Championship. And we get a celebration afterwards. Adam Page has won. Please let them sleep. So, there we go. A 24-hour booking extravaganza. And the results screen is lagging because there's 75 segments on it. And here we go. Yeah, we got a 79 overall. We didn't broadcast anywhere because, honestly, realistically, who's going to broadcast this? Who's going to buy this pay-per-view? We'll probably cut it down and put it on TV. But there it is. 79 rating. Address the locker room because holy crap, guys. Let's just get the borders back on that because it looks weird. Let's give some thoughts to Red Shoes Uno because he was complaining about being overused. Let's give him a hug. Adam Page, you stuck the landing. And Jon Moxley, you were a big part of that main event too. Injuries, you know what? To only get 2 injuries on a 24-hour show is a pretty good sign. And we made a little bit of money despite not broadcasting it, so I won't moan about this. And what have they said after this? It's going to be a lot of new signing ones. Going to play it by ear. Going to play it by ear. Danhausen's angry. I'll talk to him. Okada, I have faith in him. Karen Jarrett's angry. I'll talk to her. Carl Fletcher, injuries are a part of wrestling. Adam Page is getting a big push, and that is it. The 24-hour All In. I think I need a nap after that. I'll see you next time, guys. Goodbye.